So my first note, which is just a second long, is so we are super excited to start working on a Love Our Cities app. And so as we are kind of just brainstorming what that looks like, how beneficial it'll be for cities and just kind of the specifics of that, we'd love some input from you guys. And so right after this meeting today, we're actually just kind of going to have a little bit of a brainstorming session with anyone who's available, and just be able to kind of talk through it. I know Jeff and John and Dave and myself, we've got some ideas flowing on what that looks like. But yeah, we would just love your thoughts as we kind of move forward on that. And so stay on after the meeting if you want to help brainstorm with that. And with that, Jeff, I'm gonna pass it over to you as you kind of intro the call.
Yes. So, we, in each of our efforts that we do, we have relationships, we want to have great relationships with our nonprofits, with our schools, with our businesses, with congregations. I mean, every sector of the city, if we're going to have the biggest impact we can in helping making our cities to be the best they can be, we need to have all these relationships, that are good and that are working together, that are collaborative in a way. And so one of the relationships that we need to have thriving is how we work with our county and city government. So whatever city you're in or whatever area you're in, if it's with your county or maybe it's both. I mean, for us here, it's more both. But for you, we all need to have a great relationship with working with our city government. And so when 15 years ago or so, don't you love it when old people talk about how long ago something was? When we started, we honestly, I didn't do this thing very well at times. I just plowed ahead. I'm a visionary. I just go for it. And I've learned over the years to ask people, is this thing already going on? Can we work together rather than me just doing my own thing? And I remember our police department once, the leader of National Night Out. By the way, anybody involved in National Night Out last night? Very cool. So we did this Halloween, or no, we called it a Love Our Neighbors Night or something like that. And I remember the head of our police department was, or the person over National Night Out with our police department says, "Hey, do you know that we have something like that going on already?" I was like, "Really?" This was a long time ago. And she said something like this. She goes, "You always want us to get involved with what you're doing. How about getting involved with what we're doing?" I was like, and so the beauty of working with our government is we're doing a lot of the same things, but we can just do it differently. And sometimes our government can do it better. Sometimes we could do it better. Together, we're a powerful force. So when it came to this volunteer day, our city had something called Taking It to the Streets. And it was trying to get as many people on board as possible. And it just wasn't gathering momentum. I mean, the idea was great, and trying to do different projects, but it wasn't gathering momentum. So we were doing, under our branding, we were doing some different projects and people were showing up like crazy. And so working with our city at that time, we came to this agreement. Wait, and they were like, "You do this better than we do." Like, there's something about nonprofits that, or kind of this neutral effort, people like us for the most part. When you're the government, in a way, not everybody likes you in a sense. I mean, that's just how it goes, right? The government, it gets a bad stigma, maybe for some good reason, maybe for some bad reasons. But the idea of doing a volunteer day effort, what we do, our city was like, "Yes, you run with this and we'll be behind you because you're getting the results and you're out there more." That just makes a lot of sense in that way. And so, again, when we do it together, if we need our city, we need our city. They own a lot of land in our area. Like, they have the leadership, they can provide the dumpsters and they can provide the people working and just the oversight to make sure we're doing things, well and right. But the city also needs us, because we have that connections with congregations, with nonprofits, with businesses. I mean, but together, wow, what a powerful force. And so I am super proud of our relationship that we have in our city. I'm so proud of it that I've asked our mayor to come to this call and to share a little bit about the relationship that we have, how we do it and how we've done it, how we do it, how we can do it better. And then hopefully be an inspiration to you as you work with your city and you work with your mayor. Do you know your mayor? Do you know some of the leaders in your city? If not, I hope this will be an encouragement to you to get to know them and how to connect with them, and so that you can have even a greater impact in your city. So I'm gonna turn this over to Danielle. She's gonna lead this wonderful interview, introduce our mayor and lead this interview.
Yeah, I don't think, Jeff, you could have said it better. But yeah, so we have the privilege today of talking with Modesto's mayor, Mayor Sue Zwollen. Mayor Sue, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to talk to us. And so city leaders, you guys are going to have the opportunity to actually ask questions. And so I will give us some icebreakers and start the conversation off. But just so you guys are aware, you will have the chance. So I'll invite you to ask some questions. So get those ready, get those questions flowing as Mayor Sue and I kind of just warm up here. So Mayor Sue, I think my first question, it would be, as as the city leaders are approaching our cities and we're approaching the government, as what would you say could be the best way to describe the benefits in which, love, fill in the blank city could bring to our cities, as we're talking to our city officials and we say, we want to bring this in, what would you say would be some really good benefits that we could share with our cities as we approach them?
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being on this morning and listening. I really appreciate you being here. I thought a lot about this interview this morning, and what kept coming to me is how Love Modesto transformed our city. Love Modesto is a part of us. It's now it's who we are. It has become such a positive part of the city of Modesto that honestly it feels like it's just part of the city. It's not a separate entity. It's not just a day. It's not it's who we are. I have so many thoughts right now, even after just the introduction, and I don't know how long I have. I want to make sure I know how long I have.
You and I are talking until about 8:30-ish.
Okay. All right. So I guess a couple of thoughts that I had were, Jeff and I go way back. So I was not mayor when this all began. I was heavily involved in community volunteerism. I was born and raised in Modesto. My grandparents had dairy farms here. My mom and dad met here in high school in 1940. So I have this really deep, rich history, and I've always wanted to give back to the community. So I am a resident of Modesto that ran for mayor and won 2.5 years ago. So I'm really a community volunteer at heart. And at the time that Love Modesto was starting, I myself was really involved in my church, creating big projects, maybe like 500 people, which was large for me. I was by myself doing this, trying to organize volunteers. And then Jeff came in with this idea, and it was like exactly what I felt like we were trying to do, only he obviously did it way better, had much more of a vision citywide. So that's how that began. So I can't speak to starting Love Modesto from being a mayor. It was as being a resident, and I saw firsthand what it did for our community. The thing that struck me the most, and I don't know how much you want me to go into this with that answer to that question, but was how positive and genuine and sincere Jeff was. I could just feel it in my heart. It's something that I felt. And if I want to say anything about that, it's that humanity, human nature. I'm an emergency room nurse. That was my career. So I'm not a politician. I was an emergency room nurse. My husband's a dentist. We met in high school. Residents of Modesto, raised 6 children through public schools, volunteered in that way. But humanity loves and needs that positive, genuine, and sincere feeling permeating our lives and our communities. So we all know that nationally, negativity is everywhere in politics. It's just so sad to me on so many levels. But locally, it's not like that. Locally, it's not like that. And maybe you have all had that experience already. And I wondered if, some people would say that I was naive or that I didn't understand. I think I do. I was ran and won twice for the school board, Modesto City Schools Board of Education, 30,000 students. So I've been involved in all the nasty side of politics. I've seen it all. I'm not naive to that. But locally, my experience is everyone wants something positive, genuine, and sincere in their community. And it's true. And when we build others up, which Jeff has consistently done, I have watched him, I have observed him for over a decade now. It is consistently positive, genuine, and sincere, and never, ever, ever, ever political, ever. I don't see anyone in Love Modesto, love our cities, love Stanislaus County ever going in that direction. Now, I know he's not naive either. And he understands all that, as I'm sure all of you do. But that positive, sincere nature helps so much. Now, I was really kind of laughing when he said, the city's involvement, it was providing dumpsters. That was that's what we bring to the table.
It's a big deal,
Anyway, I thought that was hilarious, which is important. I mean, and that kind of from the city level is, if we can provide dumpsters, I mean, that's like blight is a huge issue in our community. That's a big deal. So it's, from that side, he would be able to speak better to that. And our city manager, I'm sure, although, when it first began, there's probably not a lot of leaders that are still here at that time, but it is that kind of thing from a city side, providing dumpsters, when we have Love Modesto, it is a full-on citywide, with barricades and the police department's in full force, the fire department, but as part of the community, with the children, engaging, actively involved. It's just, massive production. And Jeff does a lot of work to make that happen. I know that it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So I think kind of to reiterate is one of the larger factors of this is it seems to just be the connecting force that it has, is just, it feels from what you have seen is the community comes together over something positive, and that's something that no matter who you are, you can't be against. It makes a positive impact on the community.
Yes, I have not ever, was it 2009, Jeff? Was that? I read the book, by the way.
Yes, 2009. That's the first year.
I finished reading the book. I wanted you to know that. It's fabulous. I have never heard a negative comment ever about Love Modesto, ever. So that I think speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Well, one comment I was going to make when it was brought up with the county and the city, and I'm not sure how it is in all of your municipalities, but in Modesto, the county has its own board of supervisors, the city has its own city council, and it's two completely separate agencies. So it's two different political machines. We are very different in many ways about our philosophies. And it's kind of interesting because Modesto is the largest city in Stanislaus County, but yet we are quite different in how we manage our decision making. And so that's something to keep in mind, that it's not the same. It's completely different, and not adversarial, but different. And county has their own CEO. We have our own city manager, two separate bodies that make those decisions. So it is important to realize that you have to, do the same spiel to the city, but then you have to do the same thing with the county. So that's important, I think, to realize.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think that's a really good lead into my next question. So as we approach the municipalities, what do you think would be kind of those first questions that the city leaders could anticipate receiving?
I would imagine it would be, what resources do you need from us? That would probably be the first question, to be prepared with somewhat of a list of what you see as a need for the city to bring to the table to help with the event, or with however it looks in your city. For us, it's for sure the one-day major event that the city is very much involved in, which brings up to, I mean, we've had 10,000 people there at times. So I would say that's probably the first question they would ask: what resources? And we're used to that. I mean, generally when people want to meet with me and with the city manager, they want either money or help in some way, shape, or form. So we're used to that. And so we typically bring the proper person, if it's Parks and Recreation Department director, so that everyone can get involved in the beginning. And it's, at least in Modesto, you can have a pretty short, quick meeting and get right to the point. We're used to this.
Okay. No, that's great. Does anybody have any questions? I've got a couple more, but I'll open the floor if you've got it. All right.
I have a question.
Okay, there you
Great.
go. Go for it, Randall.
One of the things I've heard already this morning was when Jeff was talking, it was that, a nonprofit is always asking others to be involved with what we're doing. What are some of the things that we as city leaders could get involved with what you're doing? What are some of the things that we could support you guys in that?
Oh, goodness. It's that, that is almost endless, but I guess the basic response would be, it's so refreshing when someone like Jeff comes to the office here and has such a positive attitude about how much he and love Modesto, love our cities, love Stanislaus County, want to improve our community. Just personally, it is so refreshing. It's so wonderful for city leaders to hear that. Obviously, we do get a lot of complaints or concerns sort of blasted at us, but overwhelmingly in our community, people are extremely giving. Modesto is known for that, actually nationwide, for being such a giving community. That we get also hear a lot of positive. But when Jeff comes, or when anyone from Love Modesto, Love Stanislaus County, Love Our Cities comes, it's so uplifting. So I think that you just can't go wrong by honestly sending notes every once in a while, like, oh gosh, I noticed the road work is looking really great on Briggsmore Expressway, or some, that kind of thing. Thanks so much for working on our roads, to improve our roads. I mean, just really like basic things, or an email to city council members, which then we forward to our city leaders. And that gets back to public works, or back to utilities, or whatever. And it creates this environment that really is a game changer for a city.
Wow, nice. Thank-
We're all humans, and the encouragement, no matter who you are, matters. It's what
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
I saw April, your hand, your little emoji hand was up. You got a question?
Yeah, I do have a question. So, Modesto, I'm down here in Madera, and I don't know what it is like up there in Modesto, but here it did get ugly. As far as local politics are concerned, we were very much ingrained with our city council and county supervisors. This has been several years ago. And then there was a recall election on our mayor. And that whole thing just took a nosedive. And so maybe this is a question more for Jeff and Danielle, but what do you do to kind of bar your agency from looking like it's political? Does that make sense? Because our mayor ran on Love Madera, the city council, they run, hey, look what we've done for the community through this agency, blah, blah, blah. Is there any way to do that? Is there like an understanding that you have set in place in advance that, you know, even if you are voted out, we will continue to work with the next guy in there? What does that look like for you?
Jeff, I'm gonna have you answer this one.
And feel free if anyone else wants to jump in on that. I think the more neutral that we can be, the better. Like the more, again, I think, you know, Mayor Sue shared about how just being positive and trying to not take sides and not be too aligned with anybody. I think we want to win as many people over in our community that we can, right? And so in order to do that, you've got to be as neutral as you can and just try to, you know, be positive and work together with everyone. I mean, if we might not agree with everyone on everything, but can we agree on let's make our community a better place? Can we agree on let's volunteer, let's help make the school a better place? You know, no one's going to be against that. I mean, so I think the more things we can find common agreement, you know, for the common good, that's the best place to be. I mean, each situation is tricky. Like April, man, that's tough to hear that. But I think the more that we could just be positive and neutral and inclusive of everyone, you know, easier said than done. I get that, but I think that's how we win our community over.
I'll make one comment in response to that. I don't know exactly what the situation was there, but I feel like in a lot of ways that's on them. If I am not going to use Love Modesto to promote myself. What I would say is that we have people like Jeff Pishney that have started Love Modesto. We have Love Modesto, and it's successful because of the 10,000 residents that participate, because of the people. So on some way, I don't take credit for any of this at all, not 1 ounce of credit. Our community benefits from it. So many people that run for political office do try to use positive things that are going on in the community to benefit their elections or whatever. I don't know what the situation was there. Like I said, I don't do that. I would never do that. I don't think that's sincere. I don't think that that's being genuine. That's not giving credit to the people that deserve the credit, that are doing all the work. So unfortunately, that does happen sometimes. You know, in my situation, my opponent was very much involved with Love Modesto. I kept my campaign 100% clean, and he did too. And in the end, you know, we're friends. We're all acquainted with each other. I can see where that's a little bit of a difficult spot for you, because it's so identified with your city and with the name that it could seem easily crossable, because even with the name, with the city, it's Modesto, right? But I think a lot of times that's on the people that create that kind of drama surrounding something that's so good, and that's just wrong. But I saw some other hands raised too, so.
Love Anaheim. You guys had your hand
Hey,
up.
yeah, so actually, you guys made the point, but I was going to underscore that there are 2 relational equities being built with the city leaders, the city manager, staff, and department leaders, and also with the politicians. And just knowing where each of those groups are at, if they are one team and there's synergy between them, or if they're separate and adversarial-ish or not working together, that's just something to know, and then still be positive and complimentary, like what's been said about Jeff and Love Modesto, to both parties, and stay neutral, because then you will be able to help all versus, you know, have to take a side. So that was underscored already. So thank you for that. That's what we strive for in Anaheim, because we're a big player in the county and the state, both. But my question was, and maybe it's already been answered, is if someone's just looking at their city government and knows implicitly that city leadership, department head, city manager is involved, where would you start with that? And that's benefiting the group, not necessarily myself, because I'm very involved, but that's just a general question. If you want to answer it now or not, that's okay. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, excellent point. Not every city do the city manager and the mayor have a great relationship. So it would be important to know where that stands. So that's an excellent point. Starting wise, when I was starting these projects in Modesto for cleaning up parks and all of that in the early 2000s, I contacted the Parks and Recreation Department. I just started, and they put me in touch with who would be helping me with this. And we had a meeting and we worked together. As mayor, by law, I'm only allowed to direct the city manager, the city attorney, the city clerk, and the city auditor. That's it. There's 4 charter officers. So that's what our charter says, which is our constitution. So if someone comes to me first, it goes directly to the city manager. So at the top level of management. As a resident, like I said, starting out, wanting to do projects with the city, I was put in touch with someone in Parks and Recreation. It was a very successful meeting. It happened. I would say that you could do either method. Whoever you have the relationship with, I guess, first, and then they will put you in contact with the correct person, depending upon how your city government is structured. Because we have a city manager, city council leadership in Modesto. Some cities have what's called a strong mayor, which is more like a CEO. So it depends entirely on the structure of each of your cities. And anytime you say Anaheim, you said that you're strong in the county and strong in the state. I would say worldwide, because anytime I think of Anaheim, it's to get on that Highway 99, 2 blocks from here, and I'm at Disneyland in 5 hours and 20 minutes.
Well, we now have your former deputy, or your former, he's our deputy chief right now, Rick Armendariz, but he's appointed to our chief now. So he'll be starting as chief of Anaheim Police August 18th.
Oh
so
my goodness. I love
we have a strong connection with Modesto, actually.
Yes,
now.
you do. Rick was amazing here, and that is so exciting to hear. I'm so happy for him.
That's awesome. All right. It is 8:31. So we are gonna break. We're gonna break from this and go into some breakouts. But first, Mayor Sue, thank you so much for your time and just the knowledge that you have of being who you are.
Well, I truly appreciate you listening and taking your valuable time to be here. I wanted to know, you said that you're talking about doing Love Our Cities Act. Is that what I heard?
In app, like on your phone.
App.
Yeah.
I thought an act. I thought, okay.
Like, oh, what is that?
Something that's going to come to the city council. That might be a good idea.
Maybe. That's true. We'll bring it to the Supreme Court next.
There you go. An app. There you go. Okay. All right. Well, that'll be exciting. I'll look forward to hearing more about that.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a beautiful day. Take care.
All right. So we are going to break into some breakout rooms. I've got some questions that I'm going to throw in the chat. Guys, Dave is not here today and he is our Zoom master. And Jeff and I are just doing our best over here.
We got this. I'm ready to go.
All right. So I'm throwing 3 questions for all of you guys. I'll just talk it over real quick. What benefits do you experience because of your local government partnership? What challenges do you encounter in your local government partnership? And I want you to all share one next step that you'll take to expand your partnership with your city hall or government, and share that with each other, because that's a great action step. So Jeff's going to break us out and I'll throw this in the chat.
There we go. Let's see if this works.
It will.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. You there? Very good. Hey, hope you guys had a great time in your groups talking with each other, and hope you're inspired by our mayor as well. You know, if you want, when our mayor came to our city, or when our mayor came to our city, when about 30 of you came to our city in April, and you heard from our mayor, she shared there, and she has shared with me, if your mayor in your town want to talk with her, please let me know. I'll get you guys connected. Or if your city council, or if you're having, you know, people in your city that are just aren't getting on board for whatever reason, she wants to be a help. So please let me know, just email me and I'll make sure you guys get connected. Hey, I want to let you know, we contacted all of you this last few weeks, and I don't think we got a hold of all of you yet, but we tried to, at least most of you, I think we did. But our annual contract and contribution is due at the end of October. We always do that, October 31, the contract and everything is due. This year, we did move up our contribution amount, $250 across the board for all cities. We've not had an increase in 6 years. And as you all know, everything's gone up in 6 years. And with all that we're offering, just support wise and website and all this kind of stuff, we just needed to have a little more income coming in so we can better support you all. So everyone has had a great response. If by chance this is a challenge, let me know. Honestly, let me know, because we want everyone on the bus, and I don't want the finances to inhibit anyone. So, hey, right now we're going to transition into this meeting on our app that we're going to have. And I really believe this is going to have as much impact, maybe even more, than our volunteer day does. What we do year round in our community is going to have as greater impact than we do the one day. So this is going to be a huge undertaking that I can't wait just to discuss more with you guys. So as many of you that can stay on to interact on this, I'd love for you. If you got to go, have a great day today. All right. See you guys.